No, I mean it's crazy how the whole tide turned just last week, and and of course culminating in this New York Times Siena poll came out yesterday, and it was like an atom bomb went off because here's Trump ahead by a point. You know, it's funny the way these guys read the polls. And I love what Jesse Waters said about polls. But welcome back, by the way. I missed you.
Thank you.
I know you had a great time, and I appreciated the pictures, and I struggled through without you. It was rough. It was a rough week. But I'm glad you're back in the saddle for tomorrow night's big debate. I'm so pumped about this. You know what we did here in Tampa Bay? We we just stole the idea from K-Sky and Dallas Fort Worth. I'm going to be at the Studio Movie Grill.
That's awesome.
In Seminole, and we just got a couple tickets left. It's going to be a sellout. We have got door prizes, including a personally signed baseball cap, a MAGA cap signed by Donald J. Trump himself that we're giving away.
Look at you.
Hey, well, nothing like, a few bribes to get people to come to the
merch is king.
Yeah, swag is everything. And so we're getting ready for tomorrow night, and here's the way they look at polls. When Kamala was up over the last few weeks, Kamala's winning.
Mm-hmm.
When Trump is up in the New York Times poll, now this is the Bible of the left. I mean, it doesn't it's within the margin of error. It's 1 point.
Exactly right.
It doesn't really count. I settled in yesterday, Mark, to my favorite Sunday morning news show, and I've shared this before. And
CBS, right?
CBS Sunday morning. It's hit or miss. Some days they're actually surprisingly fair. Yesterday, Ted Koppel was guest hosting for Jane Pauley.
Wow.
I thought, oh boy, here we go. I mean, he's a newsman, journalist, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He does the whole first segment by visiting the Wisconsin State Fair. Okay?
Lovely.
So he does a man on the street at the Wisconsin State Fair.
Uh-huh.
I thought, here we go. Mark, it was insanely fair. In fact, I might play the whole. It was long. It was like 6, 7, 8 minutes.
And keep in mind, it's not like Ted is out there going, I'm Ted Koppel, I'm in Wisconsin. He's not doing it live. This is what they edited and decided to show.
It was the pre-taped package, and here's what they showed. Let me paraphrase for you and get your take on it.
Sure.
First of all, they started with some young white women. Oh, reproductive health is so important. Reproductive freedom, a woman's right to abortion. Then they went to a couple of young black women, and he asked them about the economy. Because he said, why do you support Kamala Harris? They were Kamala voters. And he said, are most African Americans Kamala voters in your area or Wisconsin? They said, yes. And he says, may I ask why? They said, sure, because we're poor. And we got to vote for Democrats to provide us with the programs that help us survive day to day.
Oh my.
She said, the young black woman says to Ted Koppel, believe me, if I was wealthier, if I made $200,000 a year, I'd vote Republican. Now, they kept that in the piece. And now they pivot to the Trump voters. And they go to the Trump supporters who say, I don't like the guy very much. I don't really like his personality. I don't like his tweets. But we're a lot better off with him than we would be Kamala Harris. One guy said, Black Lives Matter is wrong. It should be All Lives Matter. I mean, this was all in the CBS Sunday morning report. Have you noticed, Mark, that the media is now starting to come to almost a begrudging acceptance that the guy is very possibly going to win?
I have. And I wonder, and it gives me a huge curiosity about how ABC, David Muir and Lindsay Davis, tomorrow night, how are they going to play this? This may be the only debate. This may be it.
Oh, it will be the only debate. It will be the only debate. Unless she bombs horribly and she thinks she's only got another chance to get it back.
Or unless she does surprisingly well and foolishly wants another shot at him. So, but yes, you're
if she
correct.
does well, she's done. It'll be one and out. It'll be one and out.
Exactly.
She's going to take her win.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right,
so you're right. Odds are this is the only one. So with that as the case, is ABC going to just bury the proceedings in January 6th and abortion and social issues and mean tweets? Or will they pull a CNN, as we now call it, and be surprisingly fair, as Jake Tapper and Dana Bash were in the Trump-Biden debate? I'm fascinated. I have no idea. What do you think?
Mark, it's impossible to avoid all of her reversals. There's just no way. I mean, if they don't bring it up, Trump will. You can't go through the list of her reversal on fracking, her reversal on border security, her reversal on electric vehicles, that mandate, the reversal on the ban on plastic straws. I mean, she has reversed herself on everything, as Bernie Sanders said, because she thinks that's pragmatic and that'll work. I mean, did you hear Bernie Sanders yesterday?
I sure did. He said, I don't believe that she's changed her mind on all these things. I think she's being pragmatic about needing to win. Wow, talk about the true part coming out loud. She totally still, as you said, she totally still believes these things. She is lying and gaslighting in order to try to win and distance from her past horrible policies.
And here's the evil brilliance to what she's doing. She's got all of her aides whispering to a compliant media, well, she's evolved. Well, she's changed on this. She's changed on that. So if she were to get elected, and then, of course, she starts banning fracking, and we still have wide open borders, she can look into the cameras and say, I never said I was against
exactly.
this. She didn't. She hasn't said a thing because she won't give a press conference. Tomorrow night is the night where she's going to have her feet held to the fire. And look, this is his to lose. Everybody wants to give the man advice. Chris Christie thought he was smearing Trump by saying, well, he'll just go in there and wing it. Well, that's true, because he's got a record.
He'll be great. Yep.
He'll be fantastic. And he thrives in this kind of environment. She's facing, she's scared to death. You have to know how worried she is, there was a video of her yesterday walking hand in hand with her husband in their retreat, wherever they're practicing and by the way, at the debate retreat practices, they've got apparently a Trump lookalike, an actor playing Trump who looks and sounds like him.
Well, they get James Austin Johnson from Saturday Night Live.
Alec Baldwin, maybe? Maybe they got...
What?
But he's playing Donald Trump to try to get her to rehearse for the debate. But anyway, she's marching along. She does not look happy. I mean, it must be chilly in Pittsburgh. She's all bundled up. She's holding his hand, and she's looking like the Grim Reaper. Look, this is the biggest stage, literally and proverbially and figuratively, she's ever been on in her life.
Yep.
And she has a chance to try to convince. Now, meanwhile, remember all the thing about the childless cat ladies?
Yep.
Well, the childless cat ladies better not hear about Springfield, Ohio, because now we got news out of Springfield, Ohio, that the Haitian immigrants there are killing and eating the pets, the cats, the ducks, the geese. This story, if you haven't been on social media, if you're wondering why there's all these memes of Trump cuddling up to kitty cats and ducks and geese, it's like, save the pets, vote for Donald Trump. Mark, I hear it's true, and I've got a lot of listeners in Springfield, Ohio. They are absolutely telling me it's true. This is a town of 60,000. 20,000 Haitian migrants have been shipped into Springfield, Ohio. According to reports out of Springfield, they are going to the ponds and killing the geese and the ducks and hanging them up in the backyard like perhaps they do in Haiti.
Downtown Port-au-Prince.
And they're killing the family pets, the cats. There was one woman they arrested. She's in the driveway eating the cat in the driveway. And the cop is like, why did you do this? Why? And people are saying it's drunk driving, it's the crime has, look, the childless cat ladies better hear about Springfield,
That's the least
Ohio.
of their worries. As far as worrying about the debate, I think she is. And I think some of the best, everybody's heaping advice on Trump. Governor Greg Abbott here in Texas had some interesting advice for Trump that I think is good. You know what it is? Let her talk. Obviously, Trump needs to say some things, hold her feet to the fire, hold her accountable, ask her on all these pivots, say, okay, if you no longer want to mandate electric cars, when did you realize you were wrong? If you don't want to ban fracking anymore, when and how did you get to the process that you were so wrong before? Make her answer that. But as far as the Abbott advice, which would be my advice too, every once in a while, just lie back, let the game come to you, let her talk, because every sentence that she attempts to craft is an opportunity for a landmine to go off.
You're right. And meanwhile, speaking of Texas, Axios does a big piece today on your buddy Mark Cuban, or as you call him, Cubes.
Cubes.
He's all in for Kamala.
I know.
Even though he's on record as talking about her radical record. I mean, he has repeatedly stated that she is more radical than Bernie Sanders, which she is. Yes. So why is he all in for her as a businessman? How does a successful business guy like Mark Cuban lay down like this and throw down for Kamala Harris. Some people think he's got some personal beef with Trump. He told a story on David Letterman years ago where Cuban went to Mar-a-Lago and he felt disrespected or dissed by Trump at the time. Maybe that's all it is. I don't know. But you'd think the guy cares about America. You'd think he cares about Dallas. You'd think he cares about the state of Texas.
He's got a wonderful prescription drug cost reduction thing going. There's some sensibilities in Cubes, but I think there's a liberal heart that beats in his billionaire's chest. And when you got that, you got that. And listen, that's probably easier to explain. And I hate to even mention these people because they're so irrelevant now. But Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney, just such broken people. Because they're now going to actually vote for someone who opposes everything they have spent their lives standing for and supporting. They are broken, lost people.
That's a perfect description of what Trump does to some of these people. Of course, Liz Cheney, it's very personal for her because she got fired basically by her constituents in Wyoming. Yep. For Dick Cheney, I think he's just trying to be loyal to his daughter. The trouble is, you're right, they have a lifetime of work that would contradict why they would support a radical Marxist. And we don't use that word enough, Mark. She is a Marxist.
Yeah,
she's a radical. She's a radical Marxist. For Dick Cheney, and listen, the left has hated Dick Cheney. Isn't it laughable? Isn't it actually true comedy gold to watch them embrace Dick Cheney now as this wonderful patriot?
Yeah.
They've called him a war criminal, a Hitler, a this, a that. They hate Dick Cheney. So it's like the cat ladies in Springfield. What are they going to do? If you hate Dick, how's that going to work? Oh, I can't get enough of Springfield. I may bring the show to Springfield tomorrow.
You may have a remote from Springfield, but before, speaking of travel, last 60 seconds, because I can't escape without one travel story.
Yes, sir.
Listen, DFW is the land of American. With a 1,000,000% of everything being American, you're going to get some American Airlines complaints. I've generally had wonderful experiences, but as chance would happen, I've been on Delta like 3-4 times in the last couple of years. I like Delta a lot. Do you share my opinion of being a
I get in
Delta
trouble
fan?
because I love the Dallas-Fort Worth audience and I know the importance of American.
I love American.
I'm a Delta guy, and for me, there's no comparison.
Right, and you're in Florida, which means a lot of Atlanta.
Right, so I'm used to it. Yeah.
So here's the deal. Another lovely experience getting is DFW to Boston, DFW to Logan to get there, Logan to come back. So on Saturday, we make our way back from Chatham, from the Cape up to Boston for an 11:10 departure that would have put us back at DFW at like 2 something. Give us the rest of Saturday, all of Sunday. The Delta app is great, and it very efficiently told us, bloop, you have a 1 hour delay. And then it efficiently told us, bloop, you have a 2 hour delay.
Yep.
It eventually told us very efficiently, bloop, you have a 6.5 hour delay. We got out of there at like 5. Now, listen, here was the deal. And does stuff like this happen? Of course it does. My question is, what should they do? What did they do? It was an equipment thing. There was a plane broke. Something happened. I don't want to get on a plane. I'd rather not die. So if you need to fix the plane, I'm filled with grace and filled with, it's not like I had anything going on, just trying to get home. So it was fine. And the Boston airport has some lovely place where you can sit and watch Texas destroy Michigan there in the big house. That was fun. But what do they owe me for that? Here's what they did, because I actually had to, Delta, the app lets you text them. So I kind of texted them and said, guys, I'm shackled in Boston's airport. On the way here, my seat wouldn't recline.
Oh, yeah.
And the flight attendant gave me 10,000 miles. I thought, that's very, very nice. This is absolutely 5 times worse. What you gonna do? And they coughed up some more miles, and in fact, a flight credit or some such for about $150 and I'm pretty okay with that. I wanted to offer it up to my travel.
But let me tell you something. When we have more time, we should spend some time on this, because a little noticed change that the federal government is making, and this is recently, and I very rarely give credit to the Biden-Harris administration for anything, but they are doing this. The airlines have always done a little scam where when something happens and goes wrong and you get canceled or you have to cancel, they want to give you a trip credit. They don't want to give you your money back.
Right.
And the government is making them give you your money back. And that's as it should be. Now, in my case, I don't mind the trip credits because I fly a lot, and I use them all the time. But for a lot of people that only fly once or twice or 3 times a year, you don't want a trip credit. You want the money back. Well, that's one thing the government has done, and they're holding their feet to the fire and making the airline industry. They don't like it, but I just talked to a Delta ticket agent about this the other day. She said, these changes are all underway where you're going to get your money back when
good for
flights
the
are
as well.
canceled.
You should. And listen, if it's weather, there's nothing you can do about weather. But if it's their plane and the incoming plane broke, that's on them.
That's on them.
And as it was, I had no problem getting home at 8 rather than getting home at 2. It made no difference whatsoever. We were exhausted. But what if there's a wedding we're trying to get to? What if there's something? I mean, that could destroy somebody's plans.
Yeah,
exactly.
Somebody's
right.
life is on the. I know. No, it's a tough thing. Well, we're glad you're back. We got a big week. I like our chances tomorrow night. Get out the popcorn, my friend.
We're ready.